People don't like to talk to peons. They don't like to talk to minions. They want to talk to the boss. When I walk into a car dealership and someone shakes my hand, I said, great, nice to meet you. How long have you been working here? 6 months. I said, great. Who's your top sales guy? Jim. I said, take me to Jim, please. Like, I only want to deal with Jim. Have you ever said something to somebody during a conversation or a sales conversation and they just got kind of taken back by it? Like they weren't expecting it? If you can follow that up with a logical justification point, anchoring it to why it's real, it can change the way they receive it. I let them know, if they want to know, that we're not going to be the cheapest ones. But I also say, if you were in the market to get LASIK, you know what LASIK is? Would you go to Groupon? Whenever you say something and then you're able to logically justify it, you're literally taking away their ability to argue with you later. I love logical justification points. This is huge for me. It's huge. Whether it's a pricing thing, whenever you have premium prices and then you have a logical justification point behind it to explain why your prices may be higher than what they were thinking, it logically justifies it and it changes the whole dynamic of the call. So we use this constantly. Have you ever said something to somebody during a conversation or a sales conversation and they just got kind of taken back by it? Like they weren't expecting it? If you can follow that up with a logical justification point, anchoring it to why it's real, it can change the way they receive it. Sometimes I reverse it and I do logical justification as a pre-frame, then I do the price review. We do all kinds of stuff, right? I didn't put it in here, but do you guys know how to identify buyers versus non-buyers? You know what that means? So I learned this when I was doing medical aesthetics. If I'm talking, I can look at women. I'm not going to look at any women in the eye when I talk about this. Okay, only men. I can look at a woman and I can tell you right now, have you had surgery, facial surgery, boob surgery, whatever, and have you ever gone to a med spa? I can tell you. I know buyers from non-buyers, but over the phone, the people I trained did not know. So we had to learn how to identify that because I wanted to know whether I'm going to get price resistance at the end or not. So we would ask questions about what they've experienced to be able to understand this person's not going to get sticker shock when I tell her it's $2,400. When I don't do that and I get to the end, they're like, $2,400 for what? It's crazy. It's all about logical justification and learning how to do that up front and be able to identify that. Like what questions you say, so tell me about what have you been doing for marketing? Have you ever asked that question? I like to ask it differently. I'd say, tell me, how much money have you been paying for marketing? It's a better question, right? Well, $1,400 a month. That's interesting. What were you doing with that? Tell me about the results. Seems a bit anemic. I like to use words that make them think weird. Like, it seems like kind of an anemic budget.
In medical aesthetics, that's great.
We use it all the time. I was like, when I was selling marketing, I'd say, what's your budget for ads? They'd say $600. I said, well, you're going to give your ads anemia. I said, you have to give them more nutrients than that. I said, you have expectations that $600 is going to present you the opportunity to make $100,000 a month. I said, you just have the wrong expectations. And if that's the case, help me understand where you came up with 600. And if you want me to work with you, we're going to have to do things my way because I can't predict results and success unless we follow my proven system, which has a $2,000 minimum budget per month. Okay, but logical justification, social proof, ROI-driven conversation. Now we go right back to the price again. It's a totally different conversation, right? Let's keep going. All right, learn the art of using the magic positioning question. This is one of my favorites, especially for high-ticket sales, is we stop, we use tonality, and we say, hey, help me understand what you know about. Or tell me, what do you know about whatever you sell? And I want them to say, I don't know anything. Or they're going to tell me very quickly everything they know. And then I'm going to be able to say, all right, now I know what direction to go in, right? If I said, tell me what you know about really optimizing your Google My Business page and kind of siphoning free traffic from the people who have the highest intent. Like, well, actually, I don't know anything about it at all. Well, we're going to go educational sales. And we're going to make them feel like we're going to be their advocate, their safe pair of hands. We're going to guide them through the process. I'm glad you came to me first and not one of those other charlatans. Or someone could say, well, actually, I've tried that. I hired a guy locally, keyword locally, dumb, and he crashed and burned, and he wasted all my time. Now I know how to exactly go to that. Or they can say, well, actually, I do local SEO. And that's a red flag. You don't know what direction they're going to go in. A lot of times if you don't ask the positioning question, you have no idea how to really talk to this person, yet we do the same thing every time. So powerful. So tell me, Patrick, what do you know about business acquisitions? Tell me, Spencer, what do you know about using Facebook ads for geo-targeting around the exact neighborhoods you're looking to find customers in? Okay, great. Well, let me explain it to you. Let me tell you why I created this system. Let me tell you about all the reasons that my clients needed this, and I had to invent this, otherwise they were going to go out of business. Like, you got to learn how to tell the story. So let's keep going. All right. Learn what they know, what they experience, what they want. We've gone over that. I love this part too. Not just objections, but resistance points. Be aware of all the potential resistance points. and be able to hedge them. So let me give you an example. If I go to sell you marketing services and I present you with a 7-page contract with 13 signatures and 2 initials, is that going to cause resistance? It is. So resistance is big for me as a conversion rate optimization specialist. That's all we're doing is removing resistance from point A to point B, right? That's why Matt, in my survey funnels, Rafa, I say, take the assessment and find out. Only takes 3 minutes. I want every single step they take to feel effortless, painless, and like a micro step, a little step. I want to play down the amount of effort it's going to take to do this. Alex Hermosi, $100 million offers, talks about what? The value equation, which is dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement divided by time, delay, and effort and sacrifice. The perfect score value equation is like swallowing a pill. It takes only seconds. You're going to get exactly where you want to go. And you're absolutely going to achieve the outcome you're looking for because we have 1 million testimonials. That's Xanax. That's what they're talking about. Xanax versus meditation, right? How can we remove resistance? So instead of saying, I'm going to send you a contract, I'm going to send you an agreement. Instead of sending them a 7-page contract, send them a 1-page agreement. Make it easy. Instead of sending them the agreement, hop on Zoom and have them sign it in front of you. Instead of saying, okay, send me your credit card, take the credit card over the phone. Understand the resistance points. Amy was talking about it earlier with the decision maker. She won't go into the conversation without the other decision maker there, and she asked that question up front. If you want to remove resistance, understand the resistance points and hedge those bets right from the beginning. So these are all just little tips to get better at closing. I love leading with value, not price. I let them know if they want to know that we're not going to be the cheapest ones. But I also say, if you were in the market to get LASIK, you know what LASIK is? Would you go to Groupon? I wouldn't. If you're a Groupon shopper, then you need to go to Groupon, but I'm not Groupon. We don't compete on price. I let people know that right out of the gate. I lead with value. I talk about the ROI. I talk about why we're better. I talk about the experience. I talk about all the things, and I have to know what they've experienced so I can hedge it. I want to hear about the times they've been burnt out. I want to hear about their shitty customer service. I want to hear about the fact that they sent in a customer support ticket because it was urgent and no one responded. And they went to the footer of the website and there's no contact phone number. I want to know that so I can lead with the value we're going to bring so I don't have to compete on price. Does that make sense? Here's one of my favorites. I call it the advocate shift, the advocate method. And this is the concept of just making sure, regardless of the outcome, that you let them know that you're here to help them, whether you're a good fit or not. And this is huge because at this point, there's a lot more know, like, and trust that comes into it. So listen, I'm happy to have a conversation with you. And at the end of this, I just want to let you know if this isn't a good fit, because we're very selective on who we work with, I have an extensive network of other people very similar to me that may be a perfect fit for your business. And it's my goal to find you the care that you need one way or the other. Just like a doctor would refer you to another doctor. You're still a doctor. Doctors are great salespeople. Not really, but the way that we portray them, okay? Seriously, though, if you go to a doctor and they can't help you, do they do what? Do they try to sell you something or write you a prescription? No, they refer you to somebody else. You have to let them know that you're going to treat them as a fiduciary, not as a business looking to take your money. This makes a huge difference, okay? Seek to understand the client's budget up front. This is huge for me as well because I hate the objection at the end. You know, that would be great and all, but we have no money and no marketing budget. That's why I talk about understanding the impact of the solutions I'm bringing. I want to know how much money I'm going to make them. I want to be able to argue around that. I want to be able to almost make them feel like an idiot for the fact that they don't have a marketing budget in a nice way that's not condescending. But I need to understand that. So I ask a lot of questions around that. So I say things, instead of saying, what are you doing for marketing? Tell me, what have you been paying for marketing services and what are you doing specifically, right? I want to understand, okay, in the last 6 months, you've been doing these things. What is your total spend versus return? I want to ask, and if they're not willing to talk to me about this, it's usually a resistance point because they don't trust you or they don't feel like you're talking to them at their level, right? And there's a lot of ways to get around that too. Part of that is the positioning question. When you say, what do you know about this? And they say nothing, you're able to position yourself as the person who has the authority, the answers, the information, right? Without that, people don't like to talk to peons. They don't like to talk to minions. They want to talk to the boss. When I walk into a car dealership and someone shakes my hand, I said, great, nice to meet you. How long have you been working here? 6 months. I said, great. Who's your top sales guy? Jim. I said, take me to Jim, please. Like, I only want to deal with Jim. I'm serious. I don't deal with, no, because I'm going to play hardball at the car dealership. And I say, no offense, this is where I'm looking for. Okay, great. And then I said, if I were you, I would go to Jim and say, hey, I got a hot one. I need help with it. Will you split it with me? I've actually told a sales guy that. at the car dealership. And he's like, really? I said, yeah, try it. And he went and did it, and he split the commission. Yes. I want to talk to the boss, so I like to position myself on the call. Jeremy Miner teaches this a lot and talks about positioning. It's so powerful, right? That's why you have to upgrade your identity. What do you have listed as your title on whatever you have? Like, especially if you work for somebody else, upgrade your identity. Be a senior advisor. Be a chief strategist. Like, be something that allows them to feel like there's implied authority. You ever heard that negotiation tactic, the first person says a number loses? That's such bullshit. That means it's two people who don't know how to negotiate. That's what that means. Yeah, but if you ask them that, they're going to smoke screen you. But instead, I want to learn about it. So tell me about that. How'd that work? Wow, it sounds like you pissed away a lot of money. How much you lose? Like, I want to know. I'm swearing that it works. Wow, that guy, I've heard of that guy. Yeah, he's a dick. How much money did you waste? Just be honest with me. How much money did you waste? I just paid him $10,000 a month. Like, now I know their budget. But I'm not going to ask them their budget. Does that make sense?